Okay, let's be honest. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter? I mean, really put the hours in, only to sit down for an exam and your mind just goes completely blank? If you've ever felt that gut-wrenching gap between how hard you studied and the grade you got, then this is for you.
You know this feeling, right? It's that sinking sensation. You're staring at the question, and you know you saw the answer somewhere in your notes, but you just can't grab it. It's enough to make you think, maybe I'm just not smart enough. But what if I told you the problem isn't your brain at all?
That's right. The issue is your study methods. Think about it. The things most of us do, like rereading our notes or going wild with a highlighter, feels super productive. But it's kind of like trying to hammer in a nail with a screwdriver. I mean, you might make a dent, but it's messy, it's slow, and you're just not using the right tool for the job. So today, we are going to do a complete renovation. We're going to toss out those busted old tools and replace them with some seriously powerful strategies that are actually proven by science to work. By the time we're done here, you're going to have a brand new high-performance study toolbox. First things first, we have to understand why we're so attached to our old broken tools. Why do they feel so good even when they're letting us down? Well, it all boils down to a sneaky little trick our brain plays on us called the illusion of learning. So when you're rereading a chapter or glancing over your perfectly highlighted notes, the information starts to look really familiar. Your brain goes, oh yeah, I know this stuff. But here's the trap. You are mistaking that warm, fuzzy feeling of familiarity for actual knowledge. See, recognizing something is easy, but recalling it from scratch, that's a whole different ballgame, and exams almost always demand recall. You might be surprised, or maybe a little horrified, to find out which tools are the worst offenders. Researchers have actually ranked the most common study techniques from best to worst. So, you want to see what the science says about the tools you're probably using right now? Oof, yeah, this is from a massive 2013 study, and the results are pretty brutal. Just look at the bottom of the list, in the low utility section. Highlighting and underlining, pretty much useless, and taking the prize for the single least effective study method, rereading. The very thing that most of us spend almost all our study time doing. It's just not good. Okay, so we've established that our old tools are basically junk. What's the replacement? Well, the great news is that there's one incredibly powerful principle that is the foundation for pretty much every effective study method out there. So let's meet the new star of your toolbox, active recall. The difference here is everything. Active recall is about pulling information out of your brain. All those old methods like rereading, they're all about trying to passively shove information in. Every single time you force your brain to retrieve a memory, you're not just practicing for a test, you are literally building and strengthening the neural pathway to that memory. It's like doing a rep at the gym for your brain. And the data on this is just staggering. Check this out. In a famous study, one group of students just kept rereading a list of words. After a week, they remembered only 36%. But the other group? They tested themselves using active recall. They remembered a whopping 80%. I mean, come on, that is more than double the retention. It's a total game changer. All right, so the science is crystal clear. Active recall is where it's at. But how do you, actually do it? Let's get practical and look at a few killer techniques you can start using, like today. First up, we have the blank page technique, and it is as simple as it sounds. After a lecture or reading a chapter, just close everything, put it all away. Then, on a totally blank sheet of paper, just brain dump everything you remember. The struggle is the point. That's the learning. Then you open your book back up and see what you missed. Boom. You have just created a perfect, personalized study guide of only the things you don't. Think about why this is so much better. When you're just rereading, everything looks familiar, so you have no clue what's actually sticking. With the blank page method, there's nowhere to hide. The gaps in your knowledge are suddenly staring you right in the face, which is fantastic. It's the most honest way to study. Next up, let's upgrade our flashcard game. Most people just flip through them passively. To make them an active recall tool, you have to force yourself to say the answer out loud before you turn the card over. No cheating. Then you gotta be brutally honest. Did you nail it? Great, that card goes in a pile to review in a few days. Did you hesitate? Tomorrow's pile. Got it wrong? That goes in the review again in 5 minutes pile. And finally, one of my absolute favorites, the Feynman technique. This one is so powerful. All you do is try to teach the concept you're learning to someone else. It could be your cat, a rubber duck, whatever. The magic happens when you get stuck. The second you have to say or you use fuzzy language, bam, you've just found a hole in your understanding. You stop, go back to the source material to fill that one specific gap, and then start your explanation over. You do this until you can explain it simply and smoothly from beginning to end. So active recall is the engine of our new system. But to really get this thing humming, we need to add two more key parts that are all about timing. We need to talk about spaced repetition and, you might not see this one coming, sleep. So this is the forgetting curve. It's basically a law of memory. It shows that when you learn something new, your memory of it just plummets, like almost immediately. Without reviewing it, a massive chunk of what you learned today will literally be gone by tomorrow. It's a little depressing, I know, but the cool thing is because it's so predictable, we can actually do something about it. And this is how we fight back. It's called spaced repetition. Instead of cramming, which is a disaster, you strategically review information right at the moment you're about to forget it. And every time you do that, the curve gets a little flatter. The forgetting slows down. So you might review something after 1 day, then again after 3 days, then week, and so on. You're basically hacking your own memory and telling your brain, hey, pay attention. This stuff is important, so you better save it. Now for the final and maybe most surprising piece of the puzzle, sleep. Most of us see sleep as the enemy of studying, right? It's the thing we sacrifice to get more work done. Well, according to decades of research, that is completely, totally wrong. Sleep isn't passive downtime. It's an incredibly active and crucial part of the learning process itself.
So this number here, 0.621, it comes from a statistical measure. You don't need to know the math, just know this. The bigger the number, the stronger the effect. And this shows the huge negative impact of not sleeping enough before you try to learn something new. When you pull an all-nighter, you're not a hero. You're actually wrecking your brain's ability to absorb new information the next day. You're showing up to class with a brain that's basically a wet sponge.
But wait, there's more. Sleep is also essential after you study. This second number shows that skipping sleep after a learning session also has a significant negative effect. Why? Because while you're sleeping, your brain is working hard to consolidate those new memories, moving them from flimsy short-term storage to secure long-term memory. Skipping sleep after you study is like typing up a whole essay and then just closing the laptop without ever hitting save.
So let's bring it all home. Here's the side-by-side comparison. The old way, on the left, passive, inefficient, based on a dangerous feeling of productivity, and it leads straight to forgetting. And on the right, the new way. It's active, it feels harder, but it's brutally efficient. You study the material once, then you close the book and spend your time pulling information out, finding your weak spots and focusing only on those. That's how you build real, durable knowledge.
At the end of the day, learning isn't some magical talent you're born with. It's a skill, and just like any other skill, it all comes down to using the right tools. The old way feels comfortable and easy, but it will fail you when it matters most. The new way feels challenging, but it's what actually forges memories that last. So, the choice is yours.